Alright, so I've just got back from the Roots versus Monterey Bay game, which hence that's why this review is uploaded a little bit later than anticipated. But in terms of that game, man, that was one of the best USL Championship game I've ever attended. And I've also saw some history happen in that game too, which I guess we'll have to find out a little bit later when I do release that Sports Hop series episode on that game of what history that did happen in that game. But in terms of the MLS action that we have, like I said, there's not a lot of MLS game because we are on the international break. But we did have the two games today, and both home team was able to get the W today, which includes Charlotte FC getting a 2-0 win against FC Cincinnati. But if it wasn't for the goalkeeper that really put on a clinic in this game, the scoreline would have been much more high scoring. Like, I think there's even at one point on my notes I have right here where both goalkeepers were just putting a clinic with making some incredible save and keep this game close as long as it could. And that if it wasn't for them playing well in this game could have easily been like 3-2 or 4-3 after the 90th minute. Now, one thing I also want to say is that Kale Świdecki, you know how I said back in the preview he was not available in this game because he was called up by Poland? Yeah, it turns out that is not true, and it seems like he was available in this game and was in the starting 11, which is good news for Charlotte fan because we know that Karol Świdecki is definitely in form right now, and after this game, it is safe to say that he is definitely a man that is on fire right now. But, this also is another example of what happened when the league websites sometimes don't tell the truth of where exactly each players are. Well, they don't actually correct their information of which player actually is going to be missing for their club that is playing during the international break and go on international duty, because again, this is the classic example. The league website clearly stated that Świdecki was not available in this game, even though in the starting 11 it turns out he of course is available. And then I feel like it's just getting to a point where I'm just going to have to double check from now on whenever I do a preview talk about players that is missing on international duty, or I'll just say that in events things could change and that I only got that information from the league website, and that it's been proving so many times that the league website sometimes can screw up in terms of realizing that player that they thought that was going to be missing games because of international duty, yeah, that turns out that was not the case. But like I said, it was huge that Charlotte still have Świdecki in this game because he would actually open the score line here just 6 minutes in, and I think this is the second consecutive week that he scored in the 6 minute. Remember, he scored in the 6 minute against New England, but here he scored from Bender and Rios to give Charlotte a 1-0 lead, and it won't be the last time that I say Świdecki and Bender will be the two guys that is either on the goal scoring department or on the assist department, because something tells me there is definitely a good partnership that is developed between Świdecki and Bender, and that if this of course continues, then remember how people say that Charlotte has problem in terms of goal scoring and they don't have any creative players? Yeah, it seems like that problem might have just solved because of the fact that Świdecki is just in such a good form. And Ben Bender, the number 1 overall pick. I mean, so many times when the number 1 overall pick in MLS has been a disappointment, Ben Bender is proving otherwise. I mean, he's been having an incredible start in his MLS career and in his career with Charlotte FC. But early on, I thought Cincy had a lot of possession, but they just look very vulnerable whenever they are getting countered by Charlotte. Like, Charlotte was being very lethal whenever they go on the break. But this also maybe means that, yeah, Cincy clearly commit too many men forward, or they clearly miss Roland Motorita in this game, where Motorita is really kind of the guy that, I know I said in the preview they don't really miss him that much. I might actually reiterate that and say that maybe they do miss him much, because if he was in here, he probably would have stopped some of these counterattack that Charlotte FC was going the other way. Elsevere then puts it high from close range to the 15th minute. I thought there was also too many unforced error from the Cincy backline. Like, these unforced error isn't just bad unforced error. These were just simply the defender not making a good pass or just getting pickpocketed by the Charlotte attack, and that kind of lead to Charlotte having a lot of good chances on the breakaway and trying to punish this FC Cincinnati team by making those unforced errors. Costa then fired one wide from 24 yards out before Kalina absolutely robbed Vasquez after just a WTF turnover from Christian Fuchs. I mean, Fuchs, he has not had a good start in his career with Charlotte FC and in his MLS career. I mean, I know Fuch, he is definitely winding down to his twilight of his career, but man, it looks like him joining Charlotte in his early day looks like he is pretty much washed up a little bit, because this was just a terrible turnover that he gave to Brendan Vasquez. And while Kalina did make a great save there, for Vasquez, another guy that's been in form, he's got to put that one away. And I think that is maybe the difference between him maybe getting consideration to the national team and him probably not going to get consideration. Because if you are going to get consideration to be joining the national team, you need to put away those chances and show your lethal finishing. Then Swiderski tried to curl one in, but it goes wide, and the game kind of started to open up a little bit, because this actually came right after when Kalina was able to rob Vasquez, and it was kind of end-to-end for a bit. Khan then denied Rios from close range before, on the other end, Kalina was able to deny Acosta from 19 yards out. And again, both goalkeepers were putting a clinic early in this game. And little do we know that they would continue to put on a goalkeeping clinic, and how you need to be sharp throughout the game to make those big save as a goalkeeper. But in the first minute of stoppage time, Kalina was able to deny Powell from close range. The shots was somehow only 6-5 in favor of Cincinnati at the end of the first half. Like, with so many chances in this game, I thought the shots would be like 10-9 or like something being very big. But somehow, in some way, the shots were only 6-5 despite numerous chances. And we do head to halftime with Charlotte leading 1-0. Now, in the second half, Powell tried to curl one in on the volley, but that one goes wide. Swiderski then fires it high from a long-range effort as chances continue to mount up for both teams. But then 3 minutes later, Swiderski would be on target from a free kick as he scored here to give Charlotte a 2-0 lead. I mean, I wrote goal of the week with a question mark. There's no doubt that's going to be the goal of the week, because I know in this game we definitely did not see a lot of goal, and the only goal that was scored isn't really considered to be a goal of the week. And unless if we're going to see an amazing free kick goal in that game between the Timbers and Orlando City, there's no doubt that this is going to be the goal of the week. I mean, this was just so well struck by Kale Swiderski, and this is just also an example of what happened when your number 9 is on fire right now. And I just feel like for Swiderski, he is just a guy that, there was doubts that whether if he can translate into MLS, especially, he hasn't really been a guy that has been a goal scorer for even during his day with PAOK. But boy, he has definitely proving those doubters wrong in his early days, already getting 4 goals and are tie atop the Golden Boot race right now. The game then I thought started to open up again, and Cincinnati, they was trying to push one back, and I thought that is something that could be good news for Charlotte, because that means that Cincinnati is leaving some gaps at the back, and knowing the fact that Charlotte has been very lethal on the counterattack, I thought they were maybe going to score another couple of goals too. In fact, they had a chance to make it 3-0 if it wasn't for Alec Khan absolutely robbing Rios. And then on the follow-up, Ben Bender was trying to hit one from long range, almost trying to hit it into the empty net, but somehow in some way Khan was able to get himself back up and able to deny him there. Then on the other end, Kubo missed wide from a long-range effort, and as times winds down, I thought Charlotte started to drop back, and they were kind of looking to shut up shop, trying to preserve the clean sheet in this one. I mean, if there's one thing we know about Charlotte so far in their early days in MLS, is that their defense hasn't been that good. And if it wasn't for Kalina, who has really been bailing them out in these early days of MLS, they could have conceded double-digit goal by now. So it's understandable why they decided to kind of drop deep and trying to shut up shop. The color commentator, then decided that he's gonna sign off and basically not talk anymore, even though we only are in the 88th minute of the game. I mean, if that is not a classic Twitter moment, I don't know what is. I mean, we kind of also saw a Twitter moment in this game too, but a color commentator decided to just calls it quit, even though the game isn't over. I mean, that just kind of explains why Twitter is never taken seriously, and why many people, including myself, hate the Twitter stream. And what's worse is that I thought the color commentator, at least in the second half, he actually was okay to my standard, but the play-by-play commentator, Oh boy, he was absolutely atrocious, and he was also the same guy that I don't know actually his name, but he's that guy that basically every time when a team score a goal, he basically yell go, and that he also uses his trademark kind of goal call in terms of a golazo that score where he said, no, 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 that's not a goal. That is a golazo. And I just like, oh my goodness. I can't believe it's actually that guy again. And I also thought about muting the Twitter stream, but then I just realized that this was also the only game that has happened. And just kind of watching the only game that has happened on mute was kind of a little bit weird. I mean, some people say that it if you do that, then you of course get that match day experience where you don't have to listen to the commentator. But then when you mute the stream, you're not going to hear the atmosphere of the stadium too. So that doesn't really create a match day atmosphere where you don't even hear the fans celebrate or creating a good atmosphere throughout the game. But in the 90th minute, Khan was able to deny Reina from close range as Charlotte was looking to try to put the cherry on top. But yeah, in the end, Charlotte was able to win 2-0 in this one. As the shots in this one, 10 shots compared to 14 that Cincinnati has, 6 shots on goal compared to 5 that Cincinnati has, 4 shots off target compared to 6 that Cincinnati has, no shots that was blocked compared to 3 that FC Cincinnati has, and possession-wise, 58% possession compared to 42% possession that FC Cincinnati has in this game. And so far for Charlotte, their life in MLS, where many people thought that they were going to be in a very Cincinnati level of an expansion season, and in some way they could still do, because I remember when Cincinnati back in 2019, they also got off to a good start in their expansion season, and everything kind of fall apart from them, and time will tell whether or not if that's going to be the same case for Charlotte. But at least right now for Charlotte fans, they would definitely enjoy themselves with the way that, yeah, they have already got more wins than what Austin did last season, where Austin was stuck on 1 win for a very long time, but now Charlotte was able to get two wins in the bag, and also now getting 2 home wins out of 3 to start their life in MLS. But now moving on into the other game that happened on Saturday is Sporting KC versus RSL, and to me this game felt like it was a playoff game. Like this game, with the way how it went, it felt like it was similar to what we saw in that Western Conference second round playoff game, though this time Sporting KC did get some revenge in this one and getting the 1-0 win against RSL. In the first half, 1 minute in, Shawi almost gave Sporting KC the lead, but he drags it wide in the front post before Melia had to deny Menendez on a 1v1 situation. The Twitter commentator didn't even know the correct roster for both teams, which again, that's another classic Twitter moment where, yeah, I mean, I know that, for some that just watch Twitter stream for the first time, they would feel like this is absolutely unprofessional, and they definitely are right. But if you watch enough Twitter stream like I have, you know that this is something that shouldn't surprise anybody. And yet it's also kind of embarrassing too, the fact that they didn't even know the correct roster for both teams, or actually they didn't know the correct roster for RSL, because they thought that this guy called Jasper Loffinson was not in the starting 11, and it turns out he was actually in the starting 11. And I guarantee that they probably wouldn't know that until Loffinson actually did something, because the time when they finally realized that, oh, he's actually in the starting 11, when we thought that he wasn't, is when Loffinson of course picked up a yellow card in that situation. But also I thought, besides the 2 good early chances in the first 5 minutes, neither team really got going on the attack, and the game kind of started to become a little bit scrappy. The shots were only 2-1 through 25 minutes in favor of Sporting KC. The second shot came for RSL when Cordova skies one from 30 yards out. Then on the other end, Russell fires one high from outside the box in the 36th minute. Again, these chances weren't really kind of like grade A chances. They're kind of more like half chances. Though we did have a grade A chances in the 42nd minute when Melia denied Holt, who was completely unmarked in the box. And I get that Eric Holt is a defender for RSL, but you gotta say, he's gotta put that one away. Like, when you're completely unmarked like that, that has to end up into the back of net. But it's also an example of Sporting KC defense. I mean, how in the world do you let a player wide open like that? And they really got left off the hook because Holt wasn't able to put that one away, and Melia made a big save out of it. But there was no doubt that I thought RSL looked like they were the better side and was trying to press for the opener before halftime. But we do head to halftime scoreless between both of these teams. Now in the second half, we saw kind of another classic Twitter moment where the scoreboard basically showed the time was 0 and then it basically count up from them. And at first I thought that, wait a minute, is the Twitter stream literally going back to the first half? Are we just gonna watch the replay of the first half and not even show what happened in the second half? And it actually turns out later I found out that the second half, of course, began, and the way I actually tell wasn't because the commentators at the beginning of the second half happens, but I noticed the stadium started to get a little bit darker because this game, of course, was kind of a day-night transition game. So when the way that it started to get a little bit darker, then I realized, yeah, that indeed we're actually in the second half, because in the first half it was still bright sunshine sky at Children's Mercy Park and in Kansas City that day. But in the 49th minute, McMath was able to deny Espinoza from long range before Menendez heads it high from close range. And then on the other end, I thought Hernandez, he should have scored, as he was all alone in the 12-yard box. In fact, everybody stopped thinking that Hernandez was in an offside position, and he wasn't. And I think maybe Hernandez himself thought that he was in an offside position, because I think he took that one a little bit too casual and missed the target here. But I also thought that this game was definitely right for the taking for both teams, and that I just feel like if they can be a little bit better with their finishing, there's no doubt that we're going to see the opening goal sooner or later. After I wrote that, Sharawi hits the side netting from close range before McMath was able to deny Vujanovic from 13 yards out. Russell then puts it high from close range in the 62nd minute before, on the other end, it looked like we got the opening goal of the game when Menendez, he actually hit this one in the side netting, but the way that he kind of hit this one into the side netting, looks like it went into the back of the net. And even the Twitter commentators said that one, of course, went in. And then originally they thought, oh, wait, it's not going to count because it's offside. And it turns out that was not the case, because on the replay, it is pretty clear that Menendez actually missed that one on target. But the way that he kind of missed that one on target, like I said, it created that illusion that the ball actually went into the back net. And even some of the fans at Children's Mercy Park, that you can even hear the groan inside the stadium, because they thought that one went in, when in reality that, of course, is not the case. Menendez then fired it wide from 17 yards out in the 67th minute. Excuse me there. Shots were now 9-7 in favor of Sporting KC, so yeah, the game definitely have picked up to that point. But in the 81st minute, we finally got the opening goal of this game, and it's Johnny Russell that scores to make it 1-0 in favor of Sporting KC. I forgot to mention that Johnny Russell and Daniel Sharawi was back in this game, which was huge for Sporting KC, because they've been really struggling on the attack. And I think after this game, it's still right to say that they are still struggling on the attack, especially for the goal scoring department. But if they definitely, if they want to fix that issue and maybe score it, they need a crucial goal to get all 3 points, they can always count on Johnny Russell, who scored a big goal here to give Sporting KC the 1-0 lead. Lawferson then sends one into the cauldron from long range, as I thought RSL was starting to press for the equalizer, while Sporting KC, they were just looking to bunker and trying to hold on to this lead, which I did not like the fact that they decided to do that, because RSL is a team that they can have the ability to come back. I mean, last season, they basically lead the league in terms of scoring in the final 15 minutes. So there's just something tells me that, yeah, looks like RSL is going to tie the game. And we also almost saw a deja vu situation in the 3rd minute of stoppage time, when Krylak basically sends one over the bar from 20 yards out on a free kick. And the reason why I say that was almost a deja vu moment, remember on decision day when Krylak basically scored that goal to give Sporting KC, or not Sporting KC, but RSL the 1-0 lead. It almost happened again. Only this time, of course, it would have been a late equalizer. But in the end, Sporting KC able to get the 1-0 win over RSL, and that means that we're now just down to 5 teams that remains unbeaten for the 2022 MLS season, because RSL did suffer their first loss this year. But it's also a win that Sporting KC desperately needed, because again, they have been really struggling to begin the season. And while the issue that they have after this game remains with the question with the goal scoring of this team, at least they got themselves the and win, and that, you know, if they would have lost this game, then there would be not only concern in the Sporting KC fan base, but maybe some panic from the Sporting KC fans that this looked like it's going to be 2019 all over again. But as I said, in the end, Sporting KC was able to win 1-0, and the shots in this one, 11 shots compared to 9 that RSL has, 4 shots on goal for the 2 that RSL had, 5 shots off target for the 4 that Sporting KC had, 2 shots that was blocked for the 3 that Sporting KC had, and possession-wise, 61% possession compared to 39% possession that RSL has in this game. But yeah, either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do a like, smash the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of both of these games. Remember, tomorrow we got one more game, which is between the Portland Timbers versus Orlando City, which I'll definitely do a review of that game. But then it's basically the moment of truth game between the US versus Panama. And again, yeah, let's just hope that the US will get free points in that one. And I'll probably say the same thing after when I did the review of the Timbers versus Orlando City game, because we know how big that game is. I mean, there's a reason why people forget that there is MLS games, because everyone is focused on that one as the game that is going to be that could potentially be the make or break, or could be the game that the US can finally secure their spot of going to Qatar in November if they can get a win against Panama. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys do a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.